Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Oklahoma Polka Hall of Fame. This year, it's the, check my notes here, 44th annual. How about that? 44 years doing this. Not all by Sonny and I, but people ahead of us, and they did a wonderful job also. I got a couple of announcements to make today, and I'd like to make an announcement that, as some of you know, the Starlight Ballroom has been sold, and the new ownership is being with the current ownership, and they're putting on a Sunday dance at Starlight Ballroom on Sunday, the September 23rd, from 1 to 9 p.m. Now, we'd like to have as many people attend as possible, because it's going to be kind of a special day. They got 3 bands: polka, country, and big band. The bands are Mark Villadal for the polka band, Duffy Bellerod for the ballroom, and recognition, introductions of people who have helped them at the Starlight, and then the Kenny James Country Band. So make plans to attend. Darlene would like to have as many musicians who ever played there be in attendance, because there's going to be some special presentations for musicians who played at the Starlight Ballroom. Ladies and gentlemen, on a sad note, this week we lost a wonderful musician, friend, and just all-around good guy. And he was here last year at the Hall of Fame. In fact, he's been here the last 3 years. Frank Kushka passed away, Jr., and they're having a celebration of life dance at the Gretna Legion on Sunday, October 7th, and it starts at 4 and goes till 7, and as Frank would say, until somebody decides to leave. And they got a wonderful, wonderful person in charge of the music. His name's Dean Vornoff, and he knows from a past experience out there at the Gretna Legion that Frank Kushka thought Jacob Villadal was God. And that is no lie, because he played Frank's dad's button accordion that night, and Frankie Joe just looked up at Jake and said, "My dad's talking to me now." And this is a nice comment that was in the Frankie was a fun-loving guy, and so he wants his celebration to have, in heaven there is no beer, that's why we drink it here, and when I'm gone from here, all my friends will be drinking beer. So make plans to attend that, if you please would. Thank you. Good evening and welcome to the 44th annual Oklahoma Polka Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Let's give a big hand to the Czechlanders band, who are providing the music for your dancing and listening pleasure today. I would like to ask you that if you wish to talk or visit with someone, that you step out to the front foyer, front entrance. It's a way of courtesy to the people around you and to the inductees who are on the stage. This year we have the ladies, Darlene and Roseanne, the Queen, from Starlight Ballroom, providing the food. Let's give them a big round of applause. We haven't had food for a couple of years. Yep. We would like to also thank Mark Villadal and the All-Star Polka Show, KJSK 900 on your AM dial, heard every Sunday from 9 to 1 for advertising this event this year. The Oklahoma Polka Hall of Fame next year will be on Sunday, September the 9th, and Well, I think that's wrong. I think I got that date wrong, don't I, son?
It is Sunday,
But anyway,
September 8th.
September 8th, okay.
And the Little Band, Little Tavern Band will be playing music for that event.
Yeah, okay. Little Tavern Band's going to be playing. I got something here that I didn't enter. The Sokoloma Polka Hall of Fame started on October the 22nd, 1972, and has been held every year since 1975, with the exception of 1975, 77, and 79. With this year's inductions, there will be 145 inductees, of which 102 are deceased and 43 are still with us. Would the past inductees please come forward to be recognized? Past inductees. While they're walking forward to be recognized, these are dedicated group of people to the process, I should say, as Sonny sent out 40 ballots and 37 came back with a vote in it. That is phenomenal. Way to go, past inductees. Give them a big round of applause. 1991 inductee, 81 I should say, Ron Natterman. 1989, Alan Wellish. 1994, yours truly, Jim Botnicek. 1997, Dean Fornoff. 2001, Elmer Nimitz. 2002, Glenn Kocha. 2004, Mark Villadol. 2005, Ed Sonny Swoboda. Ken Janik Jr. in 2008. Bob Zagozda, 2008. Frank Siedlik, 2011. Marla Hanson Janik, 2012. 2013, Mary Boyce. 2014, Tom Azuka and Ron and Darlene Clement. 2015, Louis Sivak. Steve Sabota. And Jeff Uganda. 2017, Lou Hospitka. And Kevin D. Cooper. You're dismissed, guys, gals. Of course, you want to stand there the whole time.
Did you say your name? Did you say your name?
The late Joseph F. Big Joe Siedlik was born on May 13, 1944, Omaha, Nebraska. His parents were Joseph and Rose Siedlik. Joe is survived by his wife, Marty Montera Siedlik. Boniford Siedlik, I should say, who is in attendance today. She's up here on the stage with us. Give her a big round of applause. And children, sons Mike and Steve, who were unable to attend today, and daughters Jean, Susan, and Jane. Would you girls please stand up and face the crowd and give them a little wave? Nine grandchildren, which includes also the late Amanda. Joe attended grade school at St. Stanislaus Catholic School and graduated from Omaha South High in 1952. After high school, Joe entered the Army in 1956 to 1958. While in the Army, he was a chef, and one year he was requested to make a birthday cake for the then President Dwight D. Eisenhower. Joe married Martha Montfort on June 25th, 1980. After that, she was always known as Marty Siedlik. Could you turn the lights up a little bit here? There we go. Thank you. Joe always had a love for polka music, as he was brought up going to polka dances with his parents. His first polka show was on KOOO radio in Omaha. It was only a half-hour show every Sunday, but it was a start of his long career in radio and TV. The next move was to KTTT radio in Columbus, Nebraska, where he did 5 hours of polka music every Sunday. And 4 months later, he had a 4-hour show on KNLV Radio Ord, Nebraska. And 2 months later, he began a 9-hour polka show on KRCB Radio, Omaha, Council Bluffs, which was 18 hours of polka music every Sunday for 25 plus years. There were also syndicated ones, 1, 2, and 3-hour shows on 39 radio stations from the West Coast to the East Coast, that some with only a 6-month contract, others with 3 to 5 years. In 1967, in connection with the Nebraska Centennial, Nebraska Polka Days was started at Ad Park in Columbus, Nebraska. It ran there through 1969, then moved to the more spacious Peony Park in Omaha in 1970 and continued through 1983. Joe started recording bands and producing records and 8-track tapes of bands that weren't on their own label. He started with the Ray record label, then the Misty label, which was associated with the names of his 2 sons, Mick, M-I-C, for Mike, and also S-T-E for son Steve. Then also he had ownership of several master tapes of other companies, recording companies, who were going out of business. 485 master tapes, of which 2/3 of them are on CD, and all of them are on cassettes. Joe also had a newspaper called the Polka World Newspaper, which had 26 issues in a year throughout the United States. And at its highest subscription level, there were more than 94,000 subscriptions. During the paper's history, Joe petitioned to have the president impeached. Over 900,000 signed petitions to add polka dances, and from the East Coast to the West Coast through the newspaper. This was done because the president didn't have a polka band play at the White House or for the coronation inauguration ball. In the 1970s, Joe brought the Moravanka from Czechoslovakia, the United States, on two different tours. At that time, they were the top brass polka band in all of Europe. They performed in 56 locations throughout the USA and Canada. He then, in 1980s, got started in TV with a 26-week, hour-long show on KETV Omaha. In the 5 to 6 time slot against, guess what? The NFL football. The polka show ratings were bigger than the NFL football at that time slot. In 1989, Joe was gearing up for more TV programs when he videotaped 10 days with 10 polka bands each day at Exarban Coliseum in Omaha. These were done to be aired on RFD TV, a cable TV network. When RFD went online in 2000, they began airing the big Joe Polka Party shows, and from the Exarban tapings, 12 to 16 hours each week. This at the time, in over 50 years, was, can't read this, was the only polka show to be seen across the United States, parts of Canada, Mexico, Bahamas, and as far south as Belize. The Big Joe Polka Show classics can be seen weekly on RFD TV to this day, with polka music of all nationalities. There were more tapings done in early 2000s, starting in Buffalo, New York, 2 tapings in Medina in Minnesota, 2 tapings in Round Top, Texas. Then the last of the tapings were done at the Starlight Ballroom in Wahoo. Big Joe left a legacy in the polka field of polka music, which to this day is unmatched by any single individual.
The Big Joe Polka Show. Hey, it's been a lot of fun with all of the different ethnic styles of polka music. So until next time, don't forget, keep a smile on your face, a polka beat in your heart. God bless each and every one of you. And until next time, it's ho 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 to win it all.
Ho, they call it Jolly Joe. Hey ho, ho, ho. Everywhere he goes, he met you with your good will looking. When you hear Jolly Joe's on his way, hooray for Jolly Joe. He's welcome everywhere.
Joe passed away on January 1st, 2015. Sonny, with that, would you please induct Big Joe Siedlik into the Polka Hall of Fame?
Marty, on behalf of all the members of the Sokol Omaha Polka Hall of Fame, please accept this award for all the good things that Joe has done for polka music. He is a good friend of mine. I know and you guys miss him dearly, and I know the polka community misses him too. But he deserves this award. Please accept it on behalf. You bet.
Good evening, everyone. On behalf of myself, Joe Siedlik, and my 5 children and their spouse. Good evening, everyone. On behalf of myself, Marty Siedlik, and my 5 children, their spouses, grandchildren, and great-grandchild, I would like to thank all of you for coming this evening. I would also like to thank Sokol Omaha and the past inductees who voted for my deceased husband, Big Joe Siedlik, and making it possible for this award for him. Over the years, Big Joe was traveling all over the country, playing the music with noted bands and orchestras. There were millions of people all over the fantastic smiles and wonderful memories of years past. He promoted polka music of all nationalities, making each special. Over the years, Big Joe put out his polka newspaper, being on numerous radio stations as a DJ, bringing all you happy music and wonderful memories. The hours and okay. Oh, okay, where am I at? I got to start over. He promoted polka music of all nationalities, making each special. Over the years, Big Joe put out his being on numerous radio stations as a DJ, singing all the happy music and wonderful memories. The hours and dedications he put into finding polka bands, making sure each of those bands were able to be seen and heard by you all. I'm sure you are all enjoying as well. Again, I want to thank all of you who supported of my late husband, Big Joe, and looking forward to making you laugh, smile, and watch all the shows to bring happy music for happy people. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
The late Johnny Halama, Gene Halama, was born on June 11, 1940, Loup City, Nebraska. His parents were John and Agnes Halama. Johnny is survived by his wife, Jane Halama, who is here today. Where she is. Stand up. Yeah. And in attendance today is daughter Jody Halama, Dunker, and Jill Halama Buck. Stand up, girls. And on the stage, son John. Johnny attended grade school at Atlantic Center Country School east of Milligan till 6th grade. Then finished grade and high school at Friend, Nebraska Public Schools, graduating in 1958. He was a member of the school band from 1953 to 1958. Johnny, at age 9, began playing button accordion, and then at age 13 started playing the tuba, which led him to playing his first professional job with the Unita Orchestra in 1954. Johnny owned and operated Halama Repair with his father, John, and later as a family business with son John. Interesting fact, a friend while traveling in the Czech Republic found a picture in a newspaper of Johnny in front of Halama Repair in the Czech newspaper. He enjoyed traveling to museums, antiquing, and swap meets with his family. He also was a model train enthusiast and a collector. Johnny played polka music in several states: Iowa, Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, Wisconsin, South Dakota, and Nebraska. The list of groups that he played for are Unita Orchestra, Leonard Beckwar Orchestra, Johnny's Combo, Randy Korblick Band, the Accordionettes, Jim Kuchera, Dean Hansen, Al Gribnick, Sue and the Blue River Czechs, Lawrence Scrivanik, Seward Polka Dots, Bill Yeshik, Alan Bullish. He also played tuba for various accordion jamborees across the state, as well as the Milligan Musicians Hall of Fame Jamboree. Accompanying acts at Doane College Czech concerts, Johnny also was a member of the Milligan Czech Brass Band and proud to have daughter Jody and son John playing along with him in that band. Johnny was inducted into the Milligan Musicians Hall of Fame on January 15, 2005. It was a family tradition each Sunday with his kids to listen to polka music, including local bands and music from the Czech Republic. Johnny passed away on February 4th, 2007. With that, Sonny, would you induct Johnny G. Halama into the Sokol Omaha Polka Hall of Fame?
John, on behalf of all the members of the Sokol Omaha Polka Hall of Fame, please accept this award on behalf of all the contributions that your dad made in the promotion of polka music. I've heard a lot about it, and I didn't know him personally, but I bet you're real proud of your dad tonight. Yeah, so congratulations. Thank you.
On behalf of the family, we're pleased to accept the award in Johnny Halama's memory. Dad truly enjoyed playing polka music with his friends and getting to know people at the dances. He considers them all his polka family. We are proud that he is being recognized for his efforts in the preservation of the Czech culture through music. My mom, Jane, sisters Jody and Jill, and I are all thankful to have gotten the opportunity to watch him perform with various bands around the state of Nebraska and beyond. We have many fond memories sharing in his love of music. He would be so happy to see that his appreciation for his music continues on through his children and his grandchildren. We would like to thank those past inductees who nominated Dad for this honor, as well as the Sokol Omaha Polka Hall of Fame Committee for making this a possibility. Thank you.
Charles H. Petrmichl was born on November 1st, 1933 in Omaha, Nebraska. His parents were the late Rudolph and Marie Petrmichl. Charles is married to Mary Ann Petrmichl. Mary Ann, would you please stand up? And we'll give them all away. And they have 3 sons, James, Kenneth, and Chuck. Would they stand up? I think Charlie is gone. He's out of state someplace. Okay. Charles entered the service. Oh, okay. Charles attended grade school at Highland Elementary and graduated from Omaha South High School in 1951. Charles entered the service and was stationed in Korea in 1954. The company he was in built an outdoor theater to entertain the troops. And when a USO troop did not show up on time, the colonel sent for Charles to entertain the troops until they arrived. His thoughts on the whole thing and the whole deal was, it was the longest hour he ever remembers in his young life. Charlie began playing professionally in 1977, and the name of the band was Charlie and the Polka Pals, which was a 3- and 5-piece band. Over the years, he has played for several bands: Ernie Sofo, Jolly Yanks, Blue River Czechs, Czechlanders, Jim Botnicek Trio, and Little Tavern Band. Charlie won second place button accordion contest at the Playmore Polka Days in Lincoln in 1981 and won first place in the 1982 contest. In 1996, Charlie joined Lou Husbutka as a co-host of the South Polka Show, which lasted for 15 years. The last show was on December 25th, 2011. It is interesting how things happen. On one evening, Charlie went to listen to the Ernie Sofo Band play at the Trojan Tavern. As he entered, he noticed it was very quiet. He found out that Ernie was having a heart attack and was then asked to play the rest of the job. He played 2 more jobs there, and while Ernie was recovering, needless to say, Charlie and Ernie Sofo became great friends. With that, Sonny, would you induct Charlie Petrmichl into the Sokol Omaha Polka Hall of Fame?
Charlie, congratulations, and please accept this award on behalf of all the members of the Sokol Omaha Polka Hall of Fame for all the contributions you made to polka music. I can still see you up on the stage for my dad's 80th birthday. It was a snowy day, and you guys played at St. Anne's Hall. It was you, Charlie Yukowski, Jerry Hospatka, and Jeff Janda. And I appreciate it. You guys did a great job. Congratulations.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to tell you a little story about what I've been through in my life with this stuff. Anyway, my love for polka music came at a very, very early age. When I was very small, I found an accordion in a closet. And I drug it out, and I tried to play it, and it was so full of holes it couldn't hold air. And my father got tired of listening to me pumping it back and forth, so I had to put it back. A year later, I remember that accordion was in there, and my father was at work. So I tried it again, and not much better. But my mother did tell me, she says, why don't you try to play a song instead of just bumping it back and forth? So I did, and after a while, I think that I figured out the first 2 notes to a song, but when I tried to find the 3rd note, the thing was out of air. So that ended that. And then at the age of 16, I bought my first accordion by earning money with my friend from school. He was a good baseball player, and he was practicing for the Mets team in South Omaha. And the team practiced at 3 o'clock in the afternoon when the paper route had to be delivered. So he asked me if I would take the job for 5 days a week, $2 a week, and I did. And then after some other money that I scraped together, I bought my first accordion. My mother and I went to South Omaha, got a money order, and sent off to Chicago for a 3-row button accordion. And then after I went to Korea, and after I got home, I got married, And I got him acquainted with Ed Chalupa, and he heard me play the accordion, so he told me one day, he says, we're going to the dance down at Sokol Park, and he says, the band down there that's playing, he says, I used to play with them. He says, and I want to get you to go down there and play a tune on stage with me. I said, okay, and I knew that in my mind that this wasn't going to happen, but I didn't want to argue with him, so I put the accordion in the car and went with it. Well, lo and behold, he gets up and he says, come on, we're going up there and talk to I'm sorry, Jerry Jaros was the band leader. And he talked to the guys for a while, and then he told them, he says, oh, by the way, he says, this is my friend Charlie, and he is going to play the next two songs for you guys. Everybody turned around, looked at me, and says, well, can you play? I said, well, we'll give it a try. So I did, and I got a big reception from that. People were cheering me on and everything, but I thought that was pretty great. But years later, it was Ernie Haborka who was playing bass. And years later, we were having a jam session down at Little Paul's Tavern. And I asked Ernie if he remembered that. He looked at me real funny. He says, no. He says, I don't remember that at all. I said, okay, no problem. Well, lo and behold, Ed had walked into the door about that time, and Ernie jumps up and runs and asks him if that was true what I said about them guys letting me play. Of course, Ed said, yeah, it's true. And Ernie came back, he says, I don't remember. I says, don't worry about it. If I was you, I wouldn't want to remember it either. Anyway, my next deal was that Bob Alexander urged me to form a 5-piece band after he heard me play 3-piece for several years. And I don't know where he got that from. I didn't know that he ever heard me play anywhere, but that went on for a few years until the death of Jack Cronin, drummer, and I could never find another drummer, so that ended that situation. And then the next thing that happened is how the Little Tavern Band got started. Well, I'll tell you, I was doing the polka show with Louis, and one morning when I came to work there with him, he says, why don't we start a band? I said, no, I don't think I want to get involved in that anymore. And for 2 hours that the show ran at that time, he pounded on me. We got to do this, we got to do this. And I was getting tired of it. And when the show was over with, I was walking out the door. And I got tired of hearing him, and I says, I'll tell you what, Ed, you find the people to play, and you start the band, and I'll play for you. He said, okay. I felt about this dough. And so he asked me for a couple of names, and I gave him Pavel's, the drummer, and one other guy. Let's see, I think that was Joe Siedlik, if I remember right. And he got the rest of the guys to play, and that's how the band got going. And I also would like to talk about my grandkids have all played in high school bands, and that's a real accomplishment, I think. And Kate played sax, Chris played trumpet, and Grant played tuba, and Ben played euphonium, or the baritone, which is easier for me to say. And he's also doing real well in college. He plays on the Nebraska's band. And in closing, I would like to thank all of the musicians, those who voted for me and those who did not, as I have enjoyed all those who have played in past and present. And thank you, Sokols, for putting on this opportunity for us. Thank you very much.
Stephen J. Steager was born on September 9th, 1963 in David City, Nebraska. Let's everybody say happy birthday to Steve today. Double nickels, right? Double nickels. His parents are Richard and Cecilia Steager. Would they please stand up? How about that? Steve is married to Deborah M. Nimitz Steager. Debbie, would you please stand up? They have 3 children, son Joshua and his wife Janet, with grandson Ryder, son Jeremiah, and daughter Michaela, and fiance Weston. Would they please stand up? Also in attendance today is Steve's mother-in-law. She is here, isn't she? Yeah. I didn't check with you. Anyway, I got the name back here. And the name is Gladys Nimitz. Gladys, would you please stand up? Thank you. Steve attended grade school at Holy Trinity in Brainerd, Nebraska through 5th grade. Then 6th grade at St. Mary's in David City. He continued in 7th through the 12th grade at East Butler Public Schools, where he graduated in 1981. Steve started his college days at Hastings College in Hastings, Nebraska for 1 year. In 1986, he graduated from the University of Nebraska at Omaha with a bachelor's degree in music education. And in 1994, graduated from Vandercook College of Music with a master's degree in music education. Steve began playing his dad's cornet at age 10 while in the Holy Trinity School 5th grade band, and also in the 6th grade band at St. Mary's. While in the 7th grade, Steve began playing tuba, and then in the 8th grade added the euphonium. He also sang in the choir, barbershop quartet, swing choir while in high school at East Butler. The barbershop quartet performed at the State FFA convention in Pershing Auditorium in 1979. After high school, while at Hastings College, Steve majored in music education. Performed in the choir, band, wind ensemble, as well as many small ensembles, including the brass quintet. Steve transferred to UNO in 1982 and was first chair tuba in the wind ensemble for 4 years in a row. Section leader in the marching band, and continued his music education degree. He was also first chair tuba in the intercollegiate band for 3 years in a row. In 1991, started his master's program at the prestigious Vandercook College of Music in Chicago, Illinois, receiving his degree in 1994. Steve began playing professionally in 1979 at the age of 15 at the Blue River Lodge in Crete, Nebraska with the Checklanders. How about that? After a few jobs with the Checklanders, he played numerous jobs with the Michael Bretzka Orchestra from Linwood, Nebraska. Both Dean Hansen and Al Bremenick asked Steve to play in their bands while he was still in high school, but he turned them down. He remembers Al saying, "It's a business." And he He didn't think he could swing it with being in high school. In the summer of 1982, Ernie Couture called and asked him to play one job with them in Marysville, Kansas. That one job turned into 15 years with Ernie, and then another 5 years with Mike Bretzka when he took over Ernie's band after Ernie's retirement. Steve took over leadership of the Prague Czech Brass Band after Adolf Nimitz, his father-in-law, decided to retire from the polka business. The Prague Czech Brass Band performs for the annual Czech Heritage Day in Prague, as well as other opportunities that arise. Steve currently plays with the Bohemian Alps Boys and helps out other bands whenever his schedule allows. He has played on several recordings with Ernie Couture, Mike Bretzka, Mark Villadon, Plymouth Brass, the Omaha Brass Ensemble. The list of bands that he played for, orchestras or groups, was in the polka field, Ernie Couture, Mike Bretzka twice with his band before Ernie and after Ernie. Bill Ungel, Vern Bielik, Jim Bonacek, Barry Boyce, Czech and then some, Czechlanders, Dean Hansen, Happy Players, Leonard Havranek, Brad Husak, and the Jolly Coppersmiths, Carl and the Country Dutchman, Dan Kuma, Andy Creech, Jim Couture, Johnny Couture, Leo Lonnie, Mustache Joe, Moonlighters, Ron Natterny, Adolf Nimitz, Red Raven, Alan Roruko, and also Kenny Shuda, Russ Stalick, Tom Slottick, Matt Sletke,
The game doesn't start till 7.
David Slovak, Studio Trio,
It doesn't start
Texas
till
Touchman, Sue Underwood, Mark Villadol,
And the
Jacob
thing is
Villadol,
wrapping up.
Young Czechs,
It's got like 10 to 15.
Andy Heil, Bohemian Alps Boys, American Czech Brass Band, Nebraska Czech Brass Band, Prague Czech Brass Band, and Band of Baltimore, Jimmy B, or the big bands are, or ballroom bands I should say, is Jimmy B, Duffy Bellerot, Lonnie Lynn, Pat Mitchell, and Orville Von Segner. Specialty groups, Chicago Brass, Chicago Brass Band, Plymouth Brass Band, Palladium Brass, Nebraska Brass, Satin Brass, Arcadia Brass, A Touch of Brass, San Diego Brass Quintet, Lincoln Symphony, and the Omaha Symphony. Steve has received many awards and honors since high school, starting with All-State Band in 1979 and 1980. Second chair tuba in 1980. Several honor bands, Nebraska Wesleyan, Hastings College, ECNC Conference, received scholarships to attend both Hastings College and University of Nebraska at Omaha. First chair in the Intercollegiate Honor Band for 3 years. Received the college scholarship for future band directors from the Nebraska State Bandmasters Association. He has won the James Peterson Concerto competition at UNO in 1986 and was tuba soloist with the Bellevue East Wind Ensemble in 1986 at the Nebraska State Bandmasters Convention in Lincoln. Steve received the Schuyler Teacher of the Year Award in 1989. The Schuyler Band competed at the Red River exhibition in Winnipeg, Canada, and earned first place trophies in field marching, parade marching, and concert band competition. He received the Jack R. Snyder Outstanding Young Band Director Award from the Nebraska State Bandmasters Association in 1991. He has had 3 groups perform at state level conventions. The Fremont Tiger Junior High Band performed at the 1996 Nebraska State Bandmasters Convention. Fremont Middle School Jazz Band performed at the 2013 Nebraska Music Educators Convention, and Fremont Middle School Tiger Band performed at the 2010 Nebraska State Bandmasters Convention. He has served as executive officer in the Nebraska State Bandmasters for 3 years, serving as president in 2012 and 13. Steve received the Rotary Club of Fremont Teacher of the Year Award in 2015 and was nominated to run for office of the Nebraska Music Educators Association 3 times. Steve is the current vice president of the Nebraska Czechs. Interesting facts. Steve began teaching band at Schuyler in 1986 and to 1989. He has been in Fremont for 30 years. He followed Bob Olson, who was there for 33 years, who followed his father, Walt Olson, who taught there for 35 years. Fremont Middle School has been in existence for 98 years with only 3 band directors over that period of time. Unreal. Fantastic. Steve is the only true tuba player, or I should say Steve is the only tuba player to have won the James R. B. Peterson Concerto Competition held at UNO. Career highlights include trip to Czech Republic with Ernie Kuchera in 1992, underwear on the Moosehead at the Zoplotel's house in Ennis, Texas, while playing with the Jim Botnicek Orchestra, and the infamous falling off of the back of the stage in Cotillion Ballroom in Wichita, Kansas in 1985. I remember all of it. Getting home from dance jobs just in time to go to teach at school or march in a parade, playing gigs with his family. Steve's wife, Debbie, is the daughter of Gladys and the late Adolph Nimitz, who was a past inductee in 1985 to the Sokol Omaha Polka Hall of Fame. Sonny, with that, would you induct Steve Steager into the Sokol Omaha Polka Hall of Fame?
Fantastic resume. Fantastic resume. You bet you have. Accept this award on behalf of the members of the Sokol Omaha Polka Hall of Fame for all your contributions to the polka music industry, also with the assistance to your daughter Michaela. I know she was a Czech queen, and you did a lot of traveling and supporting her at the Czech festivals, which is a great honor. So please accept this award. Congratulations.
Thank you, Jim and Sonny. Obviously, there's a lot of people to thank, so I have quite a list, so bear with me. First of all, thank you to the Sokol Polka Hall of Fame. It's a great honor to join such a prestigious group, and I'd also like to thank the Sokol Hall for sponsoring this event. It's pretty amazing. I'd like to introduce my family at this time. You've met Debbie, so stand up one more time, Debbie. My wife, Debbie. Joshua and Janet, and Ryder. And my son, Jeremiah, and our daughter, Michaela, and her fiance, Weston. Let's give them a round of applause. you met my parents. I'm not going to have them stand up again, but Cease and Rich Steager of Brainerd. I have a couple of siblings that are here. My sister Amy and my sister Vicki. Stand up. Yeah. Thank you. I have, I'm the 6th of 7, so I have 2/6 of my siblings here, if you can figure that out. 1/3. There we go. Okay. Hey, math. And then I have some sisters-in-law that are here. We have Connie Rosno with her children, Lydia, Helena, Greta. Titus isn't here, is he? Nope, no Titus. Okay. The Rosnos, stand up, girls. Come on. There we go. And then, looks like Laura's here. Is it Simon or Owen with you there? Owen. And, oh, there's Laura. She's up there taking pictures. And then we have Christina and her husband, Kevin. And they have Joseph, Brendan, Maura, Kieran, and Declan, if you guys all stand up. Wave. Everybody wants to see your face. There you go. So, I don't know if you know, but my wife is the oldest of 9. So there's lots of nieces and nephews. So that's why I'm sorry, but we had several tables reserved. That's why. So, luckily not everybody showed up. Okay. Thanks. Also, my mother-in-law Gladys Nimitz, the wife of the late Adolf, and she already stood up, but she's here too. So many people to thank over the years. First of all, my wife for putting up with all the late nights and missing family events and being very supportive. She grew up in a band family, the Adolf Nimitz family band, and so she knew what she was getting into when we got married. So I really appreciate her support and love throughout the years. And it continues to this day, of course. And also our kids. I think I probably missed a few birthdays, concerts, stuff like that. Sorry. But, and they were very supportive. I mean, I remember all the times I had them helping me load instruments, sort music. You guys all did it all. So, thank you very much. And they're all musicians in their own right. Joshua plays drums with the Jim Kuchera band. He's also a very fine trumpet player. Jeremiah, a wonderful tuba player. He's got a great voice. You should hear him sing karaoke. Man, he is awesome. And my daughter, Michaela, a wonderful French horn player, a wonderful vocalist, and the former national Czech queen. So we've all held up our polka history. All right, keep it going. All right, give them a round. Before I forget, I have 4 or 5 students that are from Schuyler, who are my first teaching job, that showed up today. And stand up, you guys. Chris and Bill and Jeff, Corey left already, but it's good to see those guys again after 30 years. Yeah, pretty cool. Thank you. Also, thank you to my parents for their support over the years. My mom sewed my first tuba gig bag out of leather and sheepskin that I could carry on my back so I could do my gigs. And they bought me my first case when I bought a sousaphone from Joe Prohaska. Had a case made for my birthday. That was a birthday gift. And they also went along with me to my first gig when I was 15 because I couldn't drive yet. So they drove me along and had a great time, and also supported me in all my musical endeavors all the way through college and still to this day. So thank you, Mom and Dad. My siblings that, I think, Vicki, I probably stayed at your house probably 20 times throughout the years, or maybe more, I don't know. Doing gigs and things, and hey, can I crash at her house? Sure. And sometimes I'd show up, she didn't know I was coming, you know, those kind of things. And Amy, playing in the brass band, been very supportive. Same thing with the the whole Nimitz side. Played a Christmas Eve gig a couple of years ago. Well, it's more than a couple. And it snowed like crazy. And I had called Chris, my sister-in-law Chris, that day, and I said, can I crash at your house for a couple of hours because I have to play Christmas Day in Omaha? And she said, sure, come on over. So after we were done, and it was snowing like crazy, well, the gig got canceled on Christmas Day. I ended up at their house for 4 days. So I really got to know the older two boys, Joseph and Brendan. Got to know them pretty well. It snowed about a foot, so thank you. And you've all done numerous things for me, either helping to get me a ride somewhere. I remember I drove Laura's car back from Kansas one time because I had a gig. I mean, just, the things that family members do, it's really amazing. So thank you to all of you for all of that. One thing that this family does that you would be remiss if you didn't get to is the Petrmichl Heritage Day. It's put on by the Nimitz family and Tonette Clement. And it's pretty amazing. And they put on a great party. And by the way, we're looking for members of the Nebraska Czechs of Prague. So if you would like to be a member, talk to Chris or Connie or Debbie or Laura or me. We could use some members. All right. That's the next year. It's going to be on August 10th. So come on out to Prague and enjoy the Petrmichl Heritage Day. All right. See if I can find my spot. There we go. I'll get it straight. I've only had one shot, so. So far. We also cannot forget Adolf, who was a great influence in my life, and what an incredible man. Yep. And Gladys, thank you and to you and Adolf for raising such a wonderful family and allowing me to join it by marrying Debbie. So, thank you. One more round of applause. Okay. My grandmother, Betty Pickard, my mother's mother, actually went to Ernie's house and talked to Ernie to see if I could play with him. And I didn't know that till years later. Ernie told me, he says, yep, your grandmother talked to me. I said, what? I had no idea. So I owe a lot to her, and also to Mike Brechka, who's here. Many of you have gotten to see Mike again, may not have seen him for a while, but Mike was playing on Ernie's band at the same time, and I know that he had something to do with it because I had played several gigs with him before, and I really appreciate you being here, Mike. Thank you. There's many others. Bill Undell gave me a chance to play in the American Czech Brass Band. Harold Skarka and their family for letting a 15-year-old try and play in their band. I'm sure there were a lot of clinkers for that gig, or those gigs. Ernie Kuchera, who was an amazing man. He put up with so much over the years. Many of you musicians know not all the stories, hopefully, but many of the stories and the things that went on with that band, and he was always such a gracious man, treated me so fairly, and everybody very fairly. That was truly an honor to be able to play in that band for as long as I had that chance. Steve Hinish, what a joker. He and I had so much fun in Mike's band in Texas and in Vegas. I don't know how many of you know Irvin Siedlik Sr., but yeah, there you go. Irvin Siedlik Sr. was such a joker that whenever we had a chance to play a trick on him, we did. So we were in Texas, and he was asleep in the hotel room. So Steve Hinish and I, we found all the toilet paper we could, and we threw it under the bed and over the bed, and under the bed and over the bed, until he was wrapped up like a mummy. And he had these thick black glasses. We took them off when we started, and then put the glasses back on. So I looked like a mummy with glasses. I wish we'd had cell phones back then to get a picture of that. It was hilarious. And we laughed so much when we were doing that. And it was all his idea. So Steve Henish, thank you. And also his wife, Vicki. Vicki Henish was one of my band directors, music teachers in high school. She helped get the Young Czech started, wonderful clarinet player. Thank you, Vicki, for all of your love and support over the years. All the Petrmichl brass band members, we have a lot of them over the years. There are several that are here. Kevin Koopman's played in that group. Joe Merman is here, Chrissy Bywater, Jed O'Leary, the late Jed O'Leary, who's a very good friend of mine and vital in our first recording. Most of the Nimitzes played in that group. Jim and Mark did several of the recordings with us, and Amy Hudvey played in that group, my sister. Michaela is playing in the group now, my daughter, and my son Joshua playing. And Debbie has played in the group. Hannah Bates, Janice Elkhorn, or not Janice. Janice is her mom. Woo! Jessica, there we go, got it. I knew I'd think of it. All right. And then we've had several others fill in, Kenny Janik, Lonnie Pitts, several others. Over the years, I've had about 40 students play in groups that I was involved in. Whether it was Ernie Kuchera or Mike Brechka, I'd have some students come along and try and sit in and play. And all the way up to Chrissy, former student of mine, plays in the brass band. And all the way up to the current young gentlemen that make up the Happy Players, Jameson and Jackson Breckman. And Luke Eisenmenger and Jackson Blick, Turner Blick, sorry. Great kids, and they've done a lot for keeping the polka music going. All right. They work really hard. Parents are endlessly supportive, and if you haven't heard them play, try and get out to hear the Happy Players sometime. One other person that's not here, Danny Zuppeltal from Texas. Many of you know him. Plays in Czech and Then Some and the Texas Dutchman. His love of the Ernie Kuchera Orchestra really kind of spurred me on, and he's a great mentor and friend that I've known for 35 years. And one of the main reasons my wife and I got married is because we were in Texas and got to meet Danny and his whole family. It was a great time. I have several co-workers here, Katie McShane-Schwieger and Joe Merman. Two great friends, and working with Jill the last 4 years, she's definitely made me a better teacher over the last 4 years. I would be remiss if I didn't mention the members of the Ernie Kuchera Orchestra and the Michael Brechka Orchestra that I played with over those 20 years. They truly helped shape me into the musician I am, and I owe a lot to them. Ernie Kuchera, of course, Mike Brechka, Len Vidlock, Bernie Stanislav, Bert Hernicek, Leonard Pitts, Marvin Klemish, Irvin Siedlik, Steve Henish, Butch Heim, Bill Undell, all wonderful musicians and great guys to be around. And when you hear those names, it makes you realize how lucky I was to be included in that group. In conclusion, I'd like to thank all the members of the Sokol Polka Hall of Fame and the Sokol again for sponsoring this event. And I'd like to thank all of you that support polka music, because without you, we wouldn't be here. And we need more of that, so I'd like to ask you a favor. Next time you go to a dance, or please go to a dance, first of all, then bring some friends, bring some kids, bring the younger ones, get them involved. We need that in order for this to keep going. There's some great young ones, Jake and Addie and the Happy Players. There's some great young groups, but we need more young people at the dances for this to thrive and continue to be an experience that we don't want to lose out on. So, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Let's go take a hand now for all of the inductees here this evening, my folks. Steve Steager, Charlie Petermichl, Halama, and Martin Steager. I also want to thank my co-host Jim Bonacek here for a great job. Give him a big hand, folks. Good job. I also want to thank the ladies that came here from Starlight Ballroom, serving the food. All the musicians that came here this evening, the ones that support the Polka Hall of Fame, I want to thank them. And I want to give you folks a big hand too for coming out and supporting this. Give yourself a big hand, folks. We need all the support we can get when it comes to polka music. You guys show a great job here. And I want to also recognize our sound man, Jay, back there. Stand up, Jay. Let's give him a big hand. Good job for us this evening. So stick around, we've got more music. The Czech Landers band's coming up here to play. Thank you for coming. Enjoy the rest of the evening.